Hello, my name is Jeffrey Pogue, and today I will be performing Thomas Paine, the most influential man in America, a key to understanding revolutionary communication. Thomas Paine, my once good friend, is dead. I'm glad you've all joined me here today. Benjamin Rush, George Washington, John Adams, you all were greatly involved in periods of Paine's life, so I thought we could raise a glass to the man's incredible legacy. A man who, when the independence of our country was at stake, used influential writing to help propel the American colonists to victory in the Revolutionary War, while also helping to shape our early American ideologies. As we look through Paine's life, his communication serves as a key to understanding the potential of persuasive writing, as well as the origins of our American society. Would any of you like to share your thoughts first? Benjamin Rush, the floor is yours. You know, I first heard about the man through the word of you, Benjamin Franklin. When we first met, Thomas Paine and I shared such similar views on so many topics, and with you as a mutual acquaintance, why we became close friends. If I may, gentlemen, I would like to share one of my favorite stories on the man and one of his greatest achievements. Now, I know it would be a lie to say that Paine was the first man to suggest independence from England. By 1775, many of the colonists were up in arms about the unfair taxes and the Boston Massacre, but still, the majority of the country was unsure how to approach the looming issues of the British rule. Sure, Paine and I agreed that independence would be the only answer, but how could we convince the populace? I thought to write a paper to the people, inform them of the evils of England myself. But, you see, such radical ideas to fight against the monarchy, they were not so openly welcome. And I feared such controversy might endanger my medical practice, and perhaps even my life. But Paine believed that justice was above this risk. With decades of incredible rhetoric and skill with the pen behind him, Paine wrote this 47 pages that would change history. A pamphlet that not only told of the necessity of independence from the evil British tyranny, but also told of how equality and freedom were worth fighting for, defining the values of our nascent country. It was a pamphlet that would make him famous, and he called it A Plain Truth. I see you men are confused. It was my suggestion that changed it to what you all know it for today, common sense. And what a magnificent work it was. At the time, if you told me some pamphlet sold 4,000 copies, I would have called that a success. But common sense, that sold over 500,000. That is a copy owned by 1 in every 5 colonists, my friends. And its impact, incredible. It changed the tenor of the nation from one of docile passivity to one of patriotic revolution. In the following 3 months, 96 declarations of independence were written and published across the cities and states of the colonies. I am sure future historians will look back and call common sense the urtext of American democracy and the clarion call of the American Revolution, for that is what it was. Paine's morality and courage inspired both his colleagues and his country, and it grieves me greatly to see him go. So men, let's give a toast to Paine, the father of the revolution. Washington, you are more of a revolution man than myself. What have you to say? It is true, and a good story, Dr. Rush. We may not have been close, but I do greatly appreciate Paine's contributions to this country. Common sense changed many minds, mine included. But it is another pamphlet that Paine wrote that truly won my respect for the man. Imagine, 1776, I am the general to the Continental Army, and here I met Paine for the first time. His skills as a propagandist and his shared goal of independence made him of great use to me. He joined my army in 76, but we learned soon enough Paine was not a fighter. Oh no, we made him a secretary, but our soldiers were not doing well. We faced heavy losses at Fort Lee and Fort Washington. I knew the British, they could take our cities, they could win these battles, but as long as my men stuck together, we could persevere. But as 77 approached, entire regiments were deserting left and right. I understood why as well. They were tired, they were hungry, and beyond anything else, they were hopeless. And yet, as we camped for those cold, wintry nights, there by the light of the fire, motivated by the despondency of the men around him, sat Paine, scribbling away. And on the 19th of that December, Paine went into Philadelphia and published what would become my saving grace, The American Crisis. The passion and fury within it, the imagery and the writing. It moved me so that I had it ordered to be read to every man in my army. And that night, across the land of the hungry and the dispirited, rang the legendary words, "These are the times that try men's souls. Tyranny like hell is not easily conquered. Yet we have this consolation with us, that the harder the conflict, the more glorious the triumph." Not 3 days later, ignited with new resolve from the words of the American crisis, my men set off across the Delaware and won two of the most important battles of the war in Trenton and Princeton. Adams, it was you who said, without the pen of Paine, the sword of Washington would have been raised in vain. And I must wholeheartedly agree, for Paine made the country want to fight again. In a time when hope was scant, he secured new recruits and raised the morale. Without these texts, the war was lost and our independence simply an asterisk in the history books. And for this, I too shall give a toast to Paine. So to Thomas Paine, the savior of free America. John Adams, why do you look at me so? What have you to say on the man? Ah, yes, Thomas Paine, the uneducated lower-classman who rose to stardom as my political enemy. We all knew the man. He was pig-headed and arrogant. Let us not forget how he perished, alone and ostracized for his attacks on religion. But, men, strike me dead if I am not impressed by his abilities. You are all aware of how difficult it can be to communicate across one state, let alone 12 of them, but incredible Paine thought ahead by marketing his pamphlets for only 1 shilling apiece, far cheaper than the norm. They became plentiful enough for the colonists to share amongst themselves. And this was not even Paine's greatest feat. I am told the illiteracy of the common folk runs rampant nowadays. How can you write to those who cannot read, yet leave it to the master of communication to answer that? Unlike other polemicists of the time, Paine wrote with short sentences and simple words, often mimicking the cadences in the Bible, so that people would read off his communication like prose on street corners and taverns like this one, that even the low and high classes alike could be enwrapped in his political ideals. In the end, I'm sure more people heard his writing than even read it. Paine served politics to the common man, and beyond that, he made it seductive. Paine used his knowledge of his audience as a key to understanding how to make his communication influence far more than could have been thought possible. I said it once long ago, that time truly was the age of Paine. So, in conclusion, despite my misgivings, I too must give a toast to Paine. To Paine, a master of communication. Franklin, that leaves only you. You knew the man best. What have you to say? Paine was a complex man, to be sure. He could be arrogant, stubborn, radical even. But he truly was a revolutionary man, and his incredible legacy lives on in the country itself. Once I told the man, "Where liberty is, there is my country." Paine, always quick to the response, replied, "Where liberty is not, there is my country." For Paine knew and was willing to fight for the rights of the people. I hope that hundreds of years from now, the seeds that Paine planted for freedom and equality for all will blossom into a society where people are willing to fight for each other's rights. If such a society exists, such a democracy where the power is in the hands of the people, so different from the monarchies of the present, if such a government persists, we surely need to thank Paine. A wise man once said, Paine stands more than any other as the founder of the American School of Political Philosophy, as he certainly is the founder of the creed of the American. For Paine showed that truly persuasive communication is limited by no bounds. Neither class nor country nor time, not even illiteracy, can hinder its power. And for all of this, I want to give one final toast to Paine from all of us. So, to Thomas Paine, the most influential man in America,